Hi, this is Gary Jordan for Natural Law for North America, and today I kind of want to come to you with a thought that occurred to me yesterday. And that thought is that reincarnation is compatible, if not, I think it's an expression of the Supreme Creator's natural law. And I'll explain why I say this. And I might have typed this, but it's a little too hard right now with the eyeballs. But I'll do it this way. The reason I say this will be laid out both historically and why it expresses natural law. The aspect of natural law that I feel that reincarnation expresses and is a part of is that restoration and restitution aspect. When you do bad things, you do cause harm to others, minor or major, and that includes to yourself, there are the consequences. In India, they call that karma. And I've been reading the last couple of days, despite how hard it is to do, on India's relation to Christianity. I find it very fascinating that the Vedic culture may have, likely have, had a profound effect on the teachings of Jesus and our own heritage, in spite of the Roman Empire, in spite of all that. What makes me so certain that reincarnation is more akin to natural law? Well, look at what happened to it. In 535 CE, at the Second Ecumenical Council of Constantinople, the Church/Roman Empire rulership outlawed it. The fact that it was banned and banished tells you two things. One, it must have been very widespread to threaten excommunication and for them to be really that harsh. It must have been a widespread practice, belief, and teaching, even amongst the Pauline imperial-oriented churches. Also, it was a threat, because if I know that I'm not going to have a great life because of things around me that I might not have control over, I'm not afraid, because I know I'll die, I'll be reborn again, and if I've lived a halfway civil, made not too many mistakes in my spiritual journey, I'll have a better chance at doing better next time around. Also, I'm not afraid. I don't care what the Roman Empire tells me to do. I know that I'll live on. My soul is immortal. That's not what they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear obedience, obedience, and obedience. So if people are afraid that they have only one life, that they're born, they're created, and have only one shot, they must do it right. They must obtain the wealth. They must obtain spiritual perfection and all the other stuff we try to do simultaneously, especially in modern culture. It's really hysterical to watch. Fundamentalists go at it, which I think is laughable because it's such a waste of energy. It's just not doable. But the reason is that the Roman Empire wanted that control. They had to have control. And the only way they could do that is to convince people that there was no second chance. So either you had a good life, you had to suck up to power, to get prestige, to get a more opulent life. And if you're forced to do that, and you believe that that's all there is, you'll follow and do anything to go to heaven, as opposed to eternal hell. And that's what they were basically working on. Such as Pope Urban, I believe it was the second, that gave off this nonsense about, if you go to the Crusades, go to this quote-unquote Holy Land, and go murder people and get killed there, you'll instantly go to the highest heaven. No. But that's the kind of thinking we have. That with the fundamentalist Islam folks. You know, they go murder a bunch of people and get killed as a suicide bomber. You go to the supreme heaven. You know, it's like a little bit too creepy. But that's how it got started in the West. And I don't think it works that way, because in the teachings of the basic teachings of reincarnation in the Veda and Buddhist cultures is that you do good works, you do good deeds, you develop your spirituality to a higher level. You go to a higher level of existence, whether that be a more responsible person, a responsible position of authority in the next lifetime, or even to a demigod, the devas. Those are like our angels, I think. And then you, hopefully get to a point where you supreme liberation, but that's for another video. That's more advanced. But again, but if you do the bad thing, you harm people, you get sucked into materialism, you get distracted from the caring for the earth, which is respecting God, caring for your fellow human beings and the fellow animals, and your fellow, and all the rest of it. That's respecting God. If you don't do those things, then you go to a lower space. It may be gradual. It may be a different station in life where you have less control, or you're disabled, or an animal, But here's where this becomes compatible with natural law, and where it hit me. There's restitution. When you correct on correction, in our articles of confederation, we mentioned when a person does wrong, on correction, they're allowed to go free. They're allowed to resume their life. Well, it's the same thing with reincarnation. On correction, well, however long it takes to make the restitution, however long to pay the karmic debt, as they call it, you're allowed to go on to the next level, your next part of your journey. You're free, of that debt, because you've made restitution, and that's the basis of reincarnation and karma. As Jesus was saying in one of his parables, to those that will be given more responsibility. And those that have, the more you have, the story of the talents is what I'm thinking of. And that person each person was given the same number of talents. They used those talents, one person used them wisely, the other didn't do so wise, and they had consequences. Your talents are your life, that's my take anyway, that's your life activities, your skills, your abilities, and what you do with it determines what happens. If you use them well, you're given more. If you don't use them well, you're given less. That's the essential teaching. It's even in the Bible. The difference is that for us modern European descended Christians, we have a very limited reincarnation. This life, this human form, you die. If you go to heaven, you're saved. You transform, your next incarnation is in the form of an angel. If you don't do that, you're not saved. You go to hell as a demon. You're reborn as a demon. That's essentially reincarnation in a very, very limited way. The bigger difference is it for eternity. The real thing, and what Jesus probably taught, what the disciples knew, what was apparently quite common amongst the followers of Jesus up till 535 CE, was a larger scale reincarnation where your choices mattered. Your choices matter, but it's also reassuring to know that if you're trapped, and if you have limited choices, then when you die, you get to try again. No, it does not allow for control. There's a secondary aspect to the reincarnation question in natural law, to me, its relationship, is vegetarianism, because they go hand in hand. Most practitioners, uh, believers in reincarnation, are vegetarian. And apparently, Jesus and James, who were apparently members of a group, leaders in fact, of a group called the Essenes in Palestine during the time of Jesus lived, um, they're strict vegetarians. We've learned in recent times that they were very ascetic, strict vegetarians. Um, and if Jesus had gone, like I think he did, to India as a youngster, as a 13-year-old, and traveled to India through Persia and all that, and got learned with the masters of yoga, Buddhist and Hindu alike, he would have been exposed to all that. And going back to Palestine and becoming an Essene leader, he would have been doing that. That's so it was widespread practice up until the first Nicene Council, the first ecumenical council, called on by, of all creeps, Constantine. And at that point, not only did they have that council, he also outlawed vegetarianism. The reason being was he was a practitioner, a devotee of the cult of Mithra from Persia. And the Mithrian cults were meat eaters. And he would not give up that practice, even after he allegedly converted to Christianity. So rather than being less than Christian, a great Christian, because even the description of what people thought were saints included vegetarianism before this was outlawed. So what he did is he outlawed it, and a very brutal punishment was enacted for any Christians who were found to be vegetarian, and that is they have molten lead poured down their throats. I mean, that says it all right there, how much he was a power freak. And we're still reeling to this day from him and Charlemagne's power grabbing and twisting it. So for me, restitution is going to be, for my part of restitution and healing, is how do we heal our spiritual traditions here in the West? We can't all turn into Hindus and Buddhists, but we can reconstitute and heal the teachings that we've been denied. And those elements that might be from India and from Buddha, from the Vedas, by all means we should learn from them. And there's a lot else we lost. The mystic schools were all destroyed. Because again, Constantine did not want anything competing with his crafted, twisted version of the teachings of Jesus. And that's kind of my focus, is that and the question about, anyway, but that's another thing. But I wanted to bring those up because those were, reincarnation, I think, is an expression of the restitution in natural law, that aspect of natural law. And the natural law is God's law. It is not man-made. It is how the Creator, the Supreme Being, set up the universe to work. And if reincarnation is part of how it's set up to work, well, why would that not be part of natural law? We have to explore and learn again. So anyway, on this note, I hope I shut this thing off right this time. Anyway, so have yourself a great day, and enjoy that food for thought. And debate it, because there's a lot for us to learn. And again, have a great day.